Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Charles Coachman. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Bay Area Let's Talk. Bay Area Let's Talk. It is Friday afternoon, Friday, February 12th. Friday, February 12th. This week has flown by. It has left us in the dust. Well, there's not any dust in the Bay Area because we've had a good little rainstorm here of late, although it's turned out to be a nice day. Hey, I like to do my shout outs first thing in the morning. Well, even in the afternoon. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Judy Burba. I have known Judy for many, many years, going back to our sophomore year of high school. And I know that she's raised a terrific family. And just want to wish her all the best. Judy, happy birthday to you. Enjoy your day. And if it's your birthday out there, enjoy your day. Your day. Happy birthday to all, but especially Judy. Enjoy. Well, we are just rolling through this day. Just everything has went by really quickly. And I just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to the companies that we use. GrowLiveAcademy.com. That's a Ken Walls company. That is www.growliveacademy.com. We are using StreamYard.com as our format to go ahead and broadcast. And then I'm keeping in touch with my real estate clients using HippoVideo.com, Hippo Video. And if you need any questions answered on that, I would be glad to talk with you on that. And again, this is Bay Area Let's Talk, and I'm Charles Coachman. You can reach me on Facebook. We have several Facebook pages, including Bay Area Let's Talk. You can reach me at Charles Coachman, or you can reach me at Charles Coachman. Bay Area Let's Talk at gmail.com, or you can reach me by cell or text at 408-439-0766. Let's see. Scott Ricard, how we doing, man? How we doing? Happy afternoon. I hope you're having a great day. Raining here, but all is good. Well, it has been raining here, but it stopped probably about 7, 8 o'clock this morning. And nice, beautiful sunshine, but they say that we've got another bit of a storm, and we don't normally have an awful lot of rain here. If we get a foot over the year in San Jose, that's a good year, and that's enough to keep us out of drought, and really that's all we want. Well, on Fridays we have decided that we're going to do something different. I made the executive decision and told myself, hey, we're going to talk about music on Fridays. We do have some big news stories going on, but I believe we're not going to hear much on COVID. We're not going to hear much on school openings because we're still trying to fight that out. And really, school openings right now is one of the biggest battles in the Bay Area, other than getting our vaccinations, other than vaccines being made ready and available. And then we have the impeachment mess that's going on in Washington, D.C. I guess the defense is already finished pretty much, and they are taking questions now from senators, and hopefully they'll wrap everything up tonight and maybe take a vote Monday or Tuesday, maybe even on Saturday. Take a vote on Saturday. Get this darn thing over with. If you want the president to be found guilty, you know what? Find him guilty. If you want to do the right thing, find him innocent. Move on. I don't believe you're going to get 17 Republican senators to vote against the president, but whatever. Get it done. However you're going to do it. Let's not drag this thing on anymore. Let's get on with the business of the country. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Well, this is on Bay Area Let's Talk. Today is going to be Music Friday. Music Friday. And I just want to make sure that I have some good fun with this stuff. Next week is going to be a very, very hectic week. So, Music Friday. And we want to enjoy it. Or maybe I should change that and make it Music Fridays. But it has been a big week. And I have got a lot of stuff going on next week. 3 days next week. I will not be around at all for my 9 o'clock show and my 3 o'clock show. I'm going to continue my Bible show in the morning. But today, it's all about music. It is all about Music Fridays. Music Fridays. Let's see where we're at. Music Fridays. Well, we didn't save it. But anyway, Music Friday. And one of the things that I want to do is This Day in Rock, but I also want to spotlight. I want to spotlight an artist. Love the music history, Scott. I am a fan of all sorts of music, and I just like going through there and quizzing my wife at night, and she'll just look the other way and avoid me. But I enjoy music. I enjoy music an awful lot. But today I also wanted to spotlight, and I'm hoping that I can do this. I wanted to spotlight one of my favorite artists, and I'm hoping that I can get through this. But I wanted to start out with this day in 1935. R&B singer Gene McDaniels was born on this date in 1935. You may not have heard of him, but he had a hit song called 100 Pounds of Clay. 100 Pounds of Clay, and it's a good song. I enjoyed it. I'll probably put it on my Facebook page later on and just take a good listen to it. But it's a great song. On this day in 1939, Ray Manzarek, keyboardist of The Doors. The Doors are my favorite American rock band. I have some contradictions that I need to deal with, that I still need to deal with, but I love, one of the things that I really love is the guitar playing of Robbie Krieger and Ray Manzarek's on his keyboards. Some of the music that they put out was just fantastic. And Ray Manzarek, I just loved the guy. He was pure out hippie. I mean, it was still far out, man. And man, this was out of sight. And this was, we really were grooving. Everything was cool. I loved him. I loved his music. He passed away a few years back. But Ray Manzarek of The Doors was born on this day in 1939. Oh, number one, in 1957, Elvis had a hit song called Too Much. You may not recognize this song. It's not one of the big ones, but it was one of his number one hits. Too Much, and it's a great song. It's a great song. That one I'll be putting on my Facebook page later on. Then, and also in 1957, The Coasters had a hit with the song Young Blood. The Coasters were a group when I was growing up that I really loved. When I was a little kid, and I mean from the time I was a couple of years old till I was 5 years old, they had some great hits. Or at least I heard them, because a lot of them have been recorded before I was even born. But that song Young Blood, and then just a few of them, Yakety Yak, Charlie Brown, Poison Ivy, Along Came Jones, and then Little Egypt. We used to play Little Egypt over and over and over. We just loved it. On this date in 1958, Arsenio Hall was born. Arsenio Hall was born. They started this show so they could get more black artists and give more of the black artists an opportunity to play their music on television. That was one of the main reasons for starting the show. Who was probably his biggest guest ever? Bill Clinton, the first black president. Bill Clinton playing his saxophone. So Arsenio Hall, happy birthday to you. 1962, Gene Chandler had a hit song called The Duke of Earl. The Duke of Earl. I still remember that song. I remember it well. Then he also had some other minor hits, but one of them was Groovy Situation, and it's an excellent song. I will probably put both of those on my Facebook page later on because I enjoyed the heck out of it. In 1964, on this date in New York, Beatlemania has hit New York. The Beatles are playing 2 shows at Carnegie Hall. There's a record store that offers anyone that purchases the latest Beatles album a free Beatles haircut at one of the local barbershops. Who would have wanted a Beatles haircut? There's those mop tops. No, thank you. No, thank you. The Rolling Stones on this date in 1966 arrive in New York to do a recording for the Ed Sullivan Show. 1 year later, 1967, Keith Richards' mansion in Sussex, England is raided by law enforcement. 15 policemen discovered various substances of suspicious nature. Richards and Mick Jagger were arraigned on drug charges. 1968, a little young lady was born, Chynna Phillips. Now, if you don't recognize the name Chynna Phillips, she was the blonde-haired girl in the Wilson Phillips. She was the daughter of John and Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. Do we recognize the name? I know they had a few hits at some point. I can't even remember when they were. I believe they were in the 90s. Maybe it was in the 80s. But Chynna Phillips was born on this date. In 1968, on this date, Jimi Hendrix returns to his hometown of Seattle. During his trip, he receives the key to the city and goes to the high school that he attended and played for the students. How cool would that be? How cool would that be? Imagine the crowd they had show up for high school, probably more kids than the whole year. 1972, Led Zeppelin puts out Led Zeppelin 4. The first track on that was Black Dog. And Black Dog was an awesome song. Another hit from that was Misty Mountain Hop. Misty Mountain Hop. On this date in 1974, New York club, The Bottom Line opens up. The Bottom Line has about a 30-year run, and they have so many. This is a small club. It's not a huge club. Let's see. They opened on this date in 74. They closed down. Their final show was on January 22nd of 2004. They opened up in 1974 on February 12th, so almost a 30-year run. They had Cheap Trick, The Police, Laura Nyro, Van Morrison, Dire Straits, Eric Clapton, Hall & Oates, so many other bands, too many to list. And this was a pretty intimate club, but they just couldn't do it. They couldn't stay alive. And then one of the owners of the club died a few years after it opened, or a few years after it closed. Actor Sal Mineo on this date. He was in Rebel Without a Cause. And he also had a song that went to number 9 in 1957 called Start Moving. Now, I listened to Start Moving and I said, I don't know how that was a hit, but number 9 in the US. But he was stabbed to death in Los Angeles on this date. I don't know the story behind that. And so I'm going to have to take a look and find out what it was. In 1977, on this date, the Police record their first single. Their first single was called Fallout. Now, I don't really recall Fallout, but I do recall their first album. And I was a Police fan. I was a Police fan, and I loved their music. I love some of the songs. Now, this one I'm not really familiar with, but there were so many others that I just loved, and not just the big hits. They had some good music. In 1986, number 1, How Will I Know? How Will I Know by Whitney Houston came out. Actually, it went to number 1. The song that it displaced was That's What Friends Are For, which was her cousin's Dionne Warwick. So the young upstart kicks her cousin out as the number 1 song in the nation. 1989, novelty singer Tiny Tim. Do we remember Tiny Tim? Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Tiny Tim announces he is running for the mayor of New York. I understand he lost because Tiny Tim was never the mayor of New York. Van Halen scored their first U.S. number 1 album on this date in 1995. Their lead singer was at this time Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar, who I'd seen in concert and just loved. Sammy Hagar, a Bay Area boy and Bay Area band, and still lives in the North Bay, if I'm not mistaken. But he built himself a great career, expanded his career with, I believe they called it Van Hagar. So Van Halen to Van Hagar, number 1 album. 1997 on this date, David Bowie received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. 1997. Hollywood Walk of Fame welcomes David Bowie. 1998 on this date, Elton John is knighted by Queen Elizabeth for his contribution to music and fundraising primarily for the fighting of AIDS. And he did everything he could for that. And I believe that he still is. On 2003 on this date, the surviving members of the Grateful Dead, Bob Weir, Mickey Hart, and Phil Lesh, changed the name from the Grateful Dead to Other Ones to the Dead. They changed their name from the Other Ones just to the Dead. So instead of the Grateful Dead, they were now the Dead. Good job, guys. Pretty thought-provoking. You really had to think about that one. In this date, 2005, country and western singer Sammy Smith died. Now, maybe you don't remember Sammy Smith, but I do, because she had a hit song called Help Me Make It Through the Night. And the only reason that I really heard that song, well, I'm a country and western fan, but I was also a fan of the guy that wrote the song, and that was Chris Christopherson. And she won a Grammy for this crossover hit, but she won a country Grammy in 1971. On this date in 2005, the late Ray Charles wins 8 Grammys. 8 Grammys. The album was called Genius Loves Companies and a duet with Norah Jones. Here we go again. He won Album of the Year and Record of the Year. So, hey, well done, Ray Charles. Loved your music. Loved Hit the Road Jack. Who couldn't love that? Who could not love his cover of Georgia? He had so many wonderful songs. That was a man. That was a gifted artist that had so many personal issues, but he was a musical genius. A musical genius. 2005, on this date, a train was named after Clash frontman Joe Strummer. This was a diesel train owned by Cotswold Rail and was named after the guitarist. Joe Strummer died at the age of 50 in 2002. The Clash, of all the new wave / punk bands, The Clash was absolutely at the top of my list as far as bands. It was The Clash, then The Police, and then our American bands. But I loved The Clash and still do. Still do. So there will definitely be a Clash song out there tonight. And then let's see, on this date in 2007, this guy from The Police, Sting, at the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood, he announces that the Police will be reforming and begin a tour on May 28th in Vancouver, British Columbia. And that is it for this day in rock. I'm going to try and share my page and see if I can get in and grab something real quick. Maybe I can. I'm going to see if I can do this real fast. See if I can grab it. Who knows if I can or not, but I'm going to open something up and see if I can get this shown. Boom, let's see if I can do that. Oh, where am I at? Okay, let's see if we can get over here and do this. Share. Let's see if we can do it. Let's open this up and see if we can get in there. See if that's going to let us do it. Chrome tab. This is one of my favorite artists. And see if we can get in there. It doesn't look like it's going to let me do that. Why aren't you letting me do that? I want to see if I can do it somehow. Some way. Why won't you let me do that? Boom, let's see. Cancel that. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to allow me to do that. Share screen. Share screen. Open a Chrome tab. And because it's not on a Chrome tab. Bummer, dudes. I can't get to it. Well, I had a lot of pictures that I wanted to share, and I'm not sure how I can grab them. So I needed to do that early. But today is all about Boz Scaggs, and I'm just going to take a few minutes. Boz Scaggs was one of my favorite artists. He was born actually in Canton, Ohio. But as he became a professional musician, he spent a lot of time in the Bay Area. And I have watched Boz since I was a young guy. This morning I put a song on, out on Facebook, and I'm trying to think of the name of the song. Why is my mind skipping here? We Were Always Sweethearts. We Were Always Sweethearts. I remember I was in 6th grade and I'm going, listen to this song. A lot of horns and some good lyrics. And I just loved this song. Absolutely loved it. And then my cousin, my older cousin Tommy, who passed away going on 2 years ago, he brought in another album, and I doggone it, that was one of the album covers that I wanted to share. So I'll share those on my Facebook page. Actually, I'll show them on Bay Area Let's Talk page. But it was just called, I think it was called Boz Scaggs and Band. And it had a song, I believe the name of the song was Monkey Time. And I loved it. It was just kind of a goofy song, but I loved it. And those guys used to play right around the corner from my house. They would play at the Antioch Fairgrounds. And they were playing right there. They played in downtown Antioch. Boz Scaggs. A few years later, because that was in 1971, 1972. Few years later, Boz Scaggs records an album called Silk Degrees. All my friends were talking about this new artist that was out there, Silk Degrees. He had some hits on it. It's called It's Over, Lowdown, What Can I Say, Lido Shuffle. That was a huge album. Boz Scaggs had blown up. Saw him a few times during that period. And then he had another album that came out, Down to Then Left. And then he had another album called Middleman. And he had a great stretch of hits. And I have seen him many times. And then he got a little bit of a break in Urban Cowboy. Had this song called Look What You've Done to Me. Just an incredible song. But I want to give you a list of some of the songs that he's had that have made it in the, well, most of them have been in the top 50 at least. But he had some, here's a list of some of his albums up to 1980, and then his latest was Out of the Blues, and they're just awesome. He is really a blues guitarist and a blues singer, but he has had some great hits. So there was, in 1965, he actually put out an album called Boz. 1969, he put out an album called Boz Scaggs. Then in 1971, he put out a album called Moments. And that's where the song We Were Always Sweethearts came from. And then Boz Scaggs and Band. In 1972, he came out with an album called My Time. In 1974, he had an album called Slow Dancer. 1977, he came out with an album called Down to Then Left. 1980, he had the album Middleman. He had several albums in between. And then 2013, he came out with Memphis and A Fool to Care and Out of the Blues. Those were his last 3 albums. They were all awesome. Boz Scaggs has spent most of his life in the Bay Area. He's owned a restaurant here. Every New Year's Eve, he did a show here. And he's just awesome. Just awesome. He is a great musician, Scott. My wife and I have seen him many, many times now. And I had seen him several times before we even met. And we have enjoyed him, enjoyed his music immensely. In a 3-month period, we see him 3 or 4 times. Went to Santa Cruz, went to Oakland, went up into the mountain wineries. Just awesome. But here's some of the hits that he's had. And a lot of people don't even know about some of these early hits. We Were Always Sweethearts, 1971. Near You in 1971. Dinah Flow in 1972. Then the hits came. In 1976, It's Over. Low Down. What Can I Say? Lido Shuffle. Hard Times. Hollywood. Breakdown Ahead. And Breakdown Ahead has become one of my biggest favorites. It is just a jamming song. When I was working out all the time, that was a song that I could get on the bike and ride to for a good long time. The song was about 5 minutes long, and it was just blasting all the way through. And then JoJo, Look What You've Done to Me, Miss Sun, Heart of Mine, Cool Running, Some Change, and I'll Be the One. He has had a ton of hits, and still not a lot of people are aware of all the music that he has put out and all the music that he has created. And I just love it. So that is my salute to William Royce Boz Scaggs. Now, I left off some of the story because we were running late. But when they were in junior high down in Texas, and I'm trying to think of the town. Does it say it here? Does it say it on this at all? Plano, Texas. Him and Steve Miller met. One of their friends that they played with started calling him Bosley for some reason. Started calling William or Bill Bosley. And then they shortened it to Boz. So he got it as a nickname from a kid, from a classmate and schoolmate. But Steve Miller and Boz Scaggs got together with a couple other guys. They were in junior high, and they started playing high school dances from junior high. I think that's just incredible. That's when you know you have found the career that you can make it in. When you can start it in junior high and start moving right ahead. So he goes to school, goes to college, and he says, you know what? I'm going to travel. And he traveled playing his music all over the world, and he really hasn't stopped. But like I was saying, he has spent a good amount of time in the Bay Area. He showed up at local shows all the time and sat in with people. I can remember going to a Steve Miller Band concert, and then all of a sudden, Boz Scaggs is up there with them. They play a couple of their old hits when they were a band in the 60s. And then he came up and they let him play a couple of his hits at the time, which was off the album Silk Degrees. So that is my spotlight for the week. And that's what I want to do. So if there is somebody that we want to spotlight, whether it's a Bay Area guy, whether it's a national guy, if it's a band, or whether it's a solo player, solo artist, I don't care. I just want to look it up. Love music. This is Music Friday. This is Bay Area Let's Talk. And that is it. Have a great weekend. Scott, thank you. If you'd like to share it out, I certainly appreciate it. I have enjoyed doing this. I love the music. And I just want to have a day that I can just really, in the end of the week, the end of the work week, I just really enjoy getting away from everything else and enjoying the music. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be here on Monday and Friday. The rest of the week, I am at a real estate conference for 3 days, actually starting on Monday afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is, but 3 full days of talking nothing but real estate. So we do have our Bible study on Saturday and Sunday. Runs Monday through Sunday. Monday through Sunday at 6 a.m. or 9 a.m. East Coast. And then I normally do real estate at 9 a.m. on Monday through Friday. And then Bay Area Let's Talk, 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you soon. Bay Area Let's Talk. Checking out for the weekend.